Hello fellow mutants, welcome back to another video, and in this video we're going to talk about how this new Jedi Order movie rumor that could potentially make the Rey movie worse. So let's give this a read, shall we? Rumors concerning Star Wars New Jedi Order movie suggests Rey won't be the lead, which is an unfortunate choice of her character arc. If Rey Skywalker isn't the lead of the Star Wars New Jedi Order, then the franchise would be failing her character. Daisy Ridley's Rey was first introduced in The Force Awakens as a lonely scavenger on the planet Jakku. Over the course of the sequel trilogy, Rey discovered her connection with the Force, fought the First Order, and even defeated Emperor Palpatine once and for all. She did all of that while trying to figure out her place in the galaxy, seeking to learn more about her parents. While most of Rey's narrative mystery was solved through not in the way many might have hoped, she still deserves a story that is wholly her own. A current rumor concerning Star Wars New Jedi Order might suggest that Rey isn't the lead character in the upcoming film. After all, despite the premise presumably built around her newly reimagined Jedi Order, the movie will be directed by Charmin Obigino, is set 15 years after Star Wars Rise of Skywalker. Given the time lapse, there is no reason for Rey to not be the leading character, but instead, the rumor suggests that she will be taking a role akin to Obi-Wan Kenobi in the original trilogy, or her mentor Luke Skywalker in the sequel trilogy. This, however, would be a disservice to the character. Rey not leading the new Jedi Order movie would be an insult to the character. The story, well, you know what is the insult to the character? I feel like her taking the name Skywalker, and then I feel like that wasn't exactly so much an insult to the character. Even though I feel like it was a little bit, but also it was mostly an insult to like Leia, because Leia said, "Don't be afraid of who you are," and then the old lady on Tatooine says, "Who are you?" "I'm Rey. Rey who? Rey Skywalker." She didn't even use the name Palpatine. So I feel like that, if you want to say, has not any disservice to the character. Rey taking on the name Skywalker, as great as Anakin and Leia and um Luke are, in mostly in their respective trilogies where they were the stars. Rey take on the Skywalker name was a insult not only to her but to Leia and Luke, but mostly to Leia, because especially the thing what Leia said to Rey, and the thing was the last thing, as they hugged on the resistant base. "Don't be afraid of who you are." That was like a bitch slap to the face, I feel like. Anyways, but if the story told throughout the Star Wars sequel trilogy was never really Rey's own, yet those movies included her development and training to become a Jedi, but the villains she was never fighting and the struggles she was facing were all remnants of a different era, a continuation of someone else's narrative. And while a large portion of Rey's story was dedicated to her trying to figure out where she came from and her place in the galaxy, the answer unfortunately tied her to the stories that came before even more. The new Jedi Order movie is perfect as the perfect opportunity to give Rey a story that is utterly hers, a challenge that is hers alone to overcome by using her learned morals and values. And I gotta say, I gotta add that even though like I think like Ray could have like been like a lot of the characters Ray included could have been handled better in the sequels. Like in this movie, I feel like Finn should be like a side character. If this was going to be a Ray movie, Ray should be the main lead, right? And maybe Finn, maybe she nicer as like Finn as Jedi Knight. And so like maybe like if she's going to be a side character, like she should be like no, she should be one of the two main characters, her and Finn. If they decide to take Finn into becoming the Jedi as well, I don't know. But anyways, before I get into my full thoughts, let me keep reading. But if Rey isn't the leading character, the opportunity is taken away from her, leaving her character to remain in the shadows of giants forever. One could argue that Rey dismissed Palpatine's heritage of her own accord and chose the Skywalker name for herself, and that those were character-defining moments, and they would be right. But even most massive moments are still tied to the legacies of other characters. So far, Rey's unique lightsaber is the only one thing that is completely her. The new Jedi Order and its story should be too. Because of where Disney left it off, and since she had like I guess it's the only Jedi and the Force like that surrounds still, and between her and Finn and the new um stormtrooper defector that Lando talked to saying you want to go find your family. Rey's the most experienced Jedi, partially because she was with Mary Sue. I feel like maybe yeah she should be the lead in the new in this version of the Jedi um movie. Like it would logically make sense, especially since Luke's dead. If Luke was still alive, then I would say make Luke the main lead. No, make Luke the main lead. I don't care about Rey if she's a side character. Make Luke the main lead. Since Luke is dead, Leia's dead. It makes sense if those two characters and Anakin were like supporting leads. If they just decided to bring Anakin in the mix, I don't know. But so like to a certain degree, I do agree with them that this movie should be her own, especially since like she had 15 years. So the Rey that I guess you can say in present terms maybe most likely it's different from the way Rey that we've seen in the sequel trilogy. And who knows, maybe this version of Rey is more compelling of a character than the Rey that we got in the sequel trilogy. If that makes sense. So anyways, how Rey's new Jedi Order movie can finally do justice to the new Skywalker. Palpatine, the new Palpatine, goddammit. Building a new Jedi Order should be in Rey's major moment. She can take all she learned from Luke and Leia's teachings and failings, Ben Solo's struggle with the dark side, and the old Jedi text she took from Act Two's temple, and her fight against Palpatine, and use that knowledge to create a Jedi to an order that is fair, wiser than his predecessors, more lenient to his emotional allowances, and a new beacon of light to the galaxy. So pretty much what Luke Legends version of Luke Skywalker did. Pretty much being a female version of Luke Skywalker. A female version of the Legends version of Luke Skywalker, essentially. Because even though I'm not like, I haven't like read that much books when it is considered as now Legends, I am fully aware that Luke helped restore the Jedi Order. Unlike the Disney timeline, Luke's order did not fall. I don't. At least correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that his order didn't like go into shit. And Luke did allow emotions. attachments, because he realizes that without his attachments to Lando, Han, well, essentially to Han and Leia on Empire Strikes Back, that the events of not only lead the ending of Empire, but practically the events in Return of the Jedi would be vastly different. Debatably vastly different. So I like to see that Luke coming, you know? So if she is in the lead of the movie, however, that part of her story is essentially taken away from her. Instead of seeing the person she's grown into, the focus would be shifted to an entirely new character. One would view Rey the same as she viewed Luke, perpetuating the cycle. One of the reasons bring back Daisy Ridley as soon as so soon after the rise of Skywalker is exciting is because it allows Star Wars to continue an established character without thrusting the secondary mentor role upon them. This movie is in episode 10, the first of a trilogy. This film can just be revisiting Star Wars character that deserves some unique narrative. And I think one hand I'm gonna say this because I've been saying that Disney, since they bought Star Wars, they should focus more on the sequel trilogy timeline and not so much on the prequel or original trilogy anymore, because there's enough content to last us like a little while, at least a while, without having to come back to the original trilogy or the prequels. And we have like barely anything in the sequel trilogy, so let's expand on that. Give people like me who's being really critical of the sequels reason to really enjoy it, right? And so like I agree with the part that says if she isn't the lead in the movie, however, the part of her story is essentially taken away from her. Instead of seeing the person she's grown into, the focus will shift into an entirely new character. Well, that part would be instead of seeing the person she's grown into, right? Because as I stated before, the most interesting aspect of this would be okay. This version of Rey isn't like the sequel trilogy version of Rey. Is this Rey going to be more relatable, more likable than the Rey that we got in the sequel trilogy? And if we don't get her as the main character, then yeah, that will be throwing that chance away. And then pretty much, what is even the point of making this movie? So I might get some like hate on this, but I do hope Rey is the center, because I'm very interested in what is this version of Rey like. Like, is he the same Rey as we saw in like the sequel trilogy, or did she actually grow, change? Like, she definitely learned some stuff, but is she essentially the same Rey, or is she somewhat different? And then hopefully this will have good enough writing where they will make Rey a really fascinating character, and not just some characters that marry Sue because she has a pretty face. Because she like both Rey and the actress is easy on the eyes. But like I said, I would like for Rey to be the center of this movie if they're going to follow through. And I say if because like Lucasfilm has a history of announcing movies, like Jody Pinkenson's movie. I think it was called Rogue Squadron. I think he like canceled it next minute. And so like, if this movie gets made, Rey should definitely be a center. And I'm praying to God that her character character development in this film and where she's at is more, at this stage in the Star Wars timeline, is a more likable version of the character than the sequel trilogy. That's just me. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section down below. May the Force be with us all. Later, taters.